Uh-oh. This is a recording of a live stream. It may contain bloopers and frequent distractions. The audio and video quality may vary. Thank you for your understanding, and please enjoy.
So, yeah, Emmy is kind of taking a seat right next to Rune and has like a little shadow like, oh my god, so it was a hippogriff. Is that like a horse or is that a griffin? I like never got that really into my head. I'm sorry. Can you explain
neither. They're actually belonging neither to the animal reign. They are something else. And he goes like into this long explanation about the actual science behind them.
Uh-huh. Like, okay, she's interested, but what's your passive insight?
Passive insight would be 11.
Okay, she's not that good at hiding it. You just see, like, she focuses. She's obviously distracted at like after like a few minutes, and is like focusing you and like looking you up and down, kind of biting her lip. But she's not following anymore.
Yeah.
Either that's too complicated or she's somewhere else with her head. Tamron, Rurik, in between you, the other girl took a seat. Hello, gentlemen. My name's Lily. I'm a friend of Emmy. Mr. Dwarf, you are Rurik, right? The Blood Wolf told me you're a friend of his, a colleague.
Aye.
It says. So, I mean, you're not the first dwarf I met, but definitely the first like monster hunting one.
Well, monster hunting is our profession then. Drinking Ozic and wanna have a mug?
Oh, I would prefer wine, but sure, why not? And you kind of fill in a mug and hand it to her. She appears to be shy, but slightly more like elegant and following, although a little bit timid maybe. You guys want to kind of fight over her, or what's the plan? She's sitting in between you. I can imagine the scene, like both of them being like, "Oh hey."
I kind of lean back and put my arm around Lily and tap Rurik, and we both lean back simultaneously. And I go, "She's all yours, brother. I'll go get the wine."
Rurik
and then
nods and goes back.
So you go back, right? And then I'm gonna turn and say to Blath, "Can I speak to you for a minute at the bar alone?"
Ooh.
Yeah, he nods. Goes with
Cool.
me.
So we get up and go over to the bar, and while we're waiting to be seen, I just want to have a conversation with him, basically.
All right,
Listen,
sure.
listen. I know you. I can tell that you feel like I've let you down, and I'm just embarrassed.
Well, maybe I was harsh. I have to say mistakes happen, but you know,
No. It was worse than a mistake. I left to check the flank, and I'm just so embarrassed. Lady Luck was not on my side. I couldn't get through the doors in time. I'm supposed to be able to. Locks my thing. I just couldn't get through.
I understand your thinking. Maybe I lapsed in judgment, but can't fault you too much, you know. I'm not always one to shy away from a gamble, but maybe you know, a fight over life and death should be treated a little bit different from throwing dice. He turns to the audience, like finger pistols.
Terrible. Listen, brother. I promise you the next time it comes down to it, I will be there for you. And I kind of put my hand out like that to take yours.
Yeah, catch it. You got like a good. Better now.
Now take a room.
Yep.
And then I take Matt upstairs and have my way with him. See you next time! Cool. So that's played out. You know,
by the way.
I get the wine. I come back and take. You know, we go back to the table, and then I'll when I sit down, I tap Rurik again. I got the wine. I just hand it to the back of him.
Rick just grabs the wine and fills something into the mug. And just shoves it over
while you
to
keep
the lady.
talking, like you were having some interesting conversation about like, I guess the gods and shit.
The gods and shit.
As you make a little bit small talk, she appears to be an acolyte, in service of a temple, an acolyte of Pelor.
Ooh.
Actually. So the god, or the Dawn Father, god of agriculture, and she goes a little bit in depth in the kind of his portfolio, and she puts the emphasis on fertility.
Ooh.
Oh my!
She's
like
going
little-
strong.
Just as you kind of spill a little bit of wine. Oh, I'm sorry. She kind of. So you were saying, okay. And last but not least, there's this slightly bigger, not fat by any means, and slightly less attractive girl, who sits next to you, Zraythas, and
Ooh.
is looking you up and down. Oh, hello there. I've actually never seen a person like you. Like, what are you?
Hello. I am a Dragonborn.
Dragonborn. So you're a dragon. Child.
Bard. You could say that, partly, yeah.
Not really my.
50% dragon, 50% born.
That's interesting. And your scales are silver. So I mean, I've read a little bit about dragons. Oh, my name is Minnie, by the way. It's nice to meet you. She kind of puts her ponytail and lets her hair down, which is actually quite long, like down to her hip, pretty much.
So, is that you?
So, you are a little bit different from the others, not just by race. Like, are you a noble or something? Do you have a title?
Yes, I am indeed a noble.
Interesting.
One sec. I don't remember us like deciding on a title. Did
Not
we?
really. No, you have none.
Okay.
You're not any like baron or something.
Okay.
All right. So okay, but you're not from around here, are you?
No, indeed. I came here for adventure.
Actually, I saw you carrying that staff as well. Are you like a mage or something?
Not really. I'm a sorcerer. I don't need the stuff for magic.
Wait.
I just wear it with
shit.
me.
So holy shit, that's special. What the fuck?
Is it really?
Yeah, it kind of is. Like every smart person can kind of learn to channel magic, but you are an innate being of magic. Like the weave of space and time, just like a little nod where you are. That's special. Sure as hell is.
Well, you kind of get used to it, you know?
She kind of smirks. Okay. You are noble. I see. And as things go by, Rainier at some point kind of hey guys, wanna head up to my room? Pretty sweet. I've ordered some bottle of wine as well. And as the girls, let's make some checks. Okay.
What
Rune,
kind of checks?
you are having conversation with Emmy, and Emmy, while she's kind of distracted, and she's nodding and smiling.
Yeah, seeing that she
Yeah.
couldn't follow his explanations about hippogriffs, he switched from telling her facts about it, more retelling the story of how he got his name, like going into the storytelling part, because that's probably more her liking.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, sure. Anyway, like in the meantime, while she was not bored necessarily, but she kind of drank a little bit, so she's slightly drunk now. The other girls are fine, and we had just like a glass of wine. As they hear Rainier, they go, "Oh yeah, let's head up to the room," and they kind of like get up, and kind of follow him and leave you at the table. What do you do?
I follow.
Sure.
Yeah, we go down to the room.
Blath, Tamron, all on board?
Yeah, I'll come along. I'm a little bit more cheery now. Still a bit
You'll
tired.
have my
but-
axe.
Yeah, I'm coming along.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Are we all going?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 6 people.
Yes.
Okay, I might not come along. Tamron doesn't share.
You are aware we have all our private rooms. If things happen, I think everyone will go to their own room eventually.
You've clearly never been to an orgy, my good man. This is how it works. No, I'm going to come along. If anything, just to watch. It's fine.
Let's
go.
In the shadows.
You follow Rainier as well as the 3 girls up to the room that is apparently the one of Rainier, right? He puts in he puts the key in the lock and kind of and opens the door while not looking inside but looking at you. There you go, and throws the door open. As you are greeted with this like fancy pants atmosphere, like there's like ornate carpets everywhere, the walls. There's art around, like paintings of landscapes, of gods, of beautiful women. So there's just like this little not alleyway, but like, jeez. You kind of enter like a bigger room that opens up. It's very bright.
Okay.
As he kind of flips his fingers, and you see, because it was dark before, now several similar to light bulbs, just like as you've seen in the streets, like little floating balls of light filling the main room with like a dim light. As you can see at the end of it, there's a lot of glass, a lot of light, and there's a balcony. You are now in the 3rd story. He kind of leads up, opens the door, and you all step out onto this balcony, and you get this like amazing view, like over the somewhat skyline of Waterdeep, right? Just imagine that in night, you have like a few big structures. You have the castle, some lights, and it's just like, wow! All the girls are like jaws dropped. And outside this big balcony, there's like a few benches and tables, like watching outside. Rainier kind of like, it's like, I know, it's stunning, it's stunning. Just take a seat. I will have the wine at the ready. Or just kind of take a seat. Yeah, I suppose Lily is sitting next to Rurik, Minnie still to Zraythas, and Emmy is close to Rune. Where do you fit in, Tamron and Blath? Are you sitting with each other?
I think Blath is kind of... He was more distanced from the crowd, just thinking to himself, but after the chat with Tamron, he feels a bit better, so he's kind of approaching the rest and sitting down with them, getting
Right.
on whatever conversation is about.
Like you sit next to each other now, right? All enjoying the view, so you only have...
Yeah.
So you two are sitting next to each other. We have Rainier Like you three are like Zraythas, Rurik, and Rune. You are pretty much on a date now. He kind of you hear like a bell ringing in the first few minutes where you have conversation. You all had like a little bit of drink at least. Like time's flying by with good conversation and good company. As you see Rainier slamming down like buckets with ice and wine inside, as well as some nice fancy glasses. They are ornate as well. Some fruits are engraved in the glass. You have some wood elements in some glasses as well, like on the handle. And there you go, and you have like several bottles of white and red wine. As he kind of sits next to you, Tamron, and Blath. And he is drinking like a red wine, holding it and swinging it and stuff. What about you guys? You want a wine as well, or shall I grab you some cocktails?
What kind of cocktails do you have?
No, he's talking to Blath. I assume you are in conversation with Minnie, are you not?
Oh yeah, I guess.
I mean, she as you learn, like through conversation and a little bit of small talk, she is actually somewhat of a sage. She is working in the library. She's reading a lot. She's really educated, and she knows 7 languages. She read a lot about magic, alchemy, as well as some poison stuff. Might be able to do something like that as well. But she's like curious about you. There's no sexual tension necessarily, but she's a smart person and a good conversationist. Like she's social, she's pretty smart, and apparently likes you, or is enjoying herself.
Alright.
So you just share a glass of wine. You learn some facts about. By the way, is there anything you would like to ask her? She's knowledgeable. Like you will not fuck her, so to say, but you might get another benefit from it. So during conversation, are there any magical creatures, for example, that you are
The brain
curious about, where you would like to know stuff?
Mind fucking.
I would say you can like pretty much gain some information through her if you want.
Not that I can come up right now. But...
Okay, just think about it while we play out the other scenes. Okay. So there's Rainier, Tamron. He's asking you. So you guys want a cocktail?
I'll happily have some wine.
All right, white or red one?
Red, please.
She kind of grabs the. There you go.
I'll have the same, but in my head I've realized that time has passed since I've had the fortune of having that crazy elixir that sobered me up a bit, and because we're so close to the end of the night, and you know we're getting ready to be on the next stage of our journey.
Yeah.
One of my personality traits is to not drink before a job. So we were celebrating earlier, but now that I realize time has passed, I'm not being rude because I realize he's done a lot for us, but I'm gonna not actually drink what he gives me.
Sure, but it's an atmosphere he doesn't really care. You have like a glass of wine, and he's like doing some conversation as time passes, and it's around midnight now. As he's talking to you guys, he seems pretty interested in like you as persons, like individual. Like I mean, you two know each other. He's asking about like your homeland, slightly things about your backstory. Do you tell him something, or are you like very brief?
Me?
Both of you.
Okay.
Like it's a threesome pretty much in conversation.
Oh, hell yeah.
A trialogue.
Right.
You go, Matt.
I gotta think for a second about this one.
I'll go then. So I'm not gonna go into much detail. I kind of just briefly give the story. So I'm like, when I was younger, my parents became unwell, so I had to work any way I could to find some money for medicine. It wasn't enough, And so I've just been traveling ever since. That's where I met this idiot.
I'm sorry to hear that. What about you, Blath?
I never knew this, Tamron. Well, I really don't have much of a background other than a job as a mercenary after being picked up from the streets. But I'm no longer accepted, if you will, among my former brothers.
Why is that?
They
Just throw you out?
Well, there was an incident. I don't know how much Blath really wants to share, but he's kind of moved by how Tamron just opened up a lot. So at the same time, he's kind of feels like sharing a bit more than he normally would. Because he's kind of protective of his past, but I'm suspected of a crime that I did not do.
Crime?
Well,
Are they still searching for you?
To tell you the truth, a murder.
Oh no, it's a great night. We won't have to party. No need to go into details. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to have.
That's fine.
Well,
it's okay.
Bad blood or bad vibes here. I was just curious. But you're no longer with an order, are you?
I'm just a contractor, you could say.
From what you've told
looking
me
for
about
new brothers.
that band of brothers, they were rangers, no? And you are a ranger as well.
Yeah, correct.
If you're looking for some training, I can introduce you to some fellows if you want.
That would sound good. Yes,
To
thank you.
solidify your skills at some point. Because I feel like you can get a lot of trainers here around here, but like especially nature people who are close to nature are not necessarily that easy to find within Waterdeep. But don't you worry about it. We're gonna talk about that at a later point in time.
Well, I don't think we really were quite introduced either. So I know your name, but I don't know much about you other than that.
Oh well. Okay, listen. He kind of tells you the story of his life. So he's in his early 30s. He's one of the children of Dagult Neverember, the former Lord of Waterdeep and now Lord of Neverwinter, the Open Lord, and pretty much tells you everything I mentioned earlier. And just like he's not going into every detail, but just getting you up to date, trying to build a connection. And he also tells you, as you're sitting at the terrace, that he is with an association called the Harpers. He appears to be an agent of a faction that tries to thwart tyrants and too much power and too few hands. They are protectors of the weak and innocent, and are usually, well, do-gooders, spies, mostly spellcasters, bards, or wizards.
Yeah.
Anyway, like time goes by, you all having a great evening at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I guess things split up a little. The guys.
Party ends.
What? Sorry?
Before the party ends,
Yeah.
I do want to ask Minnie about the sea hag. If she
sea
knows
hag?
anything about it.
Interesting. Okay. So she. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not entirely sure. I know I read a tome about it actually, not too long ago. Let me. So yeah. Well, like, what do you want to know? I know sea hags. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what what are they known for to be dangerous, and what are their known weaknesses?
Their known weaknesses. Well, okay. So first things first, they kind of like live underwater. They have underwater breathing. And she kind of like goes into detail. She knows quite some stuff. She's not sure about any weaknesses, although water beings might be vulnerable to lightning. She tells you that they are like their strongest attributes is their strength and their constitution. They are not too hard to kill. She relays to you. It is a monster with a challenge rating of 2. Usually, like a sea hack, is around challenge rating 2. That means a party of 4 players level 2 would be an even matchup as an encounter.
Damn.
She also tells you about they being spellcasters, right? I went into detail earlier. You kind of knew some things and got told some things, and they actually have features like an illusory appearance, like many hacks, so they can appear like different people. But she's still ugly. That's her thing. She cannot be something beautiful. They are limited by that, and they have an horrific appearance. And if you are frightened by it, your mind is in such a fragile state that she can give you a death glare that not instantly kills you, but sets you to 0 hit points.